Today we're going to talk about the bend tool. And the bend tool is located in the palette under the Object Edit tab. And if you're looking for it, it's typically buried under the transform rig, about 4 down into the list. It's called bend. And when you click on that, opens up the bend rig toolbox. So what I have here is I just have a little shape that I made up, just a little extruded piece. And I've got a curve already made up in my scene here. So what I want to do is I want to take this piece that I created and I want to bend it up. Let's say I'm working on some design and my design calls for an extruded piece of aluminum or something like that to be bent. So it's always easier to model something in a linear format. Like this. It's just an extrusion. No need to model it already bent, so we just modeled it straight. So now we're gonna use the bend rig to get the design looking the way we want it. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the bend tool. Then I'm going to select my model. I'm going to accept that as a target. And then I'm going to select the curve I'm going to use as my axes. And I'm going to accept that. And now you're going to see that a duplicate of my object has now been kind of snapped to that curve. The orientation is a little off. So what we can do is we can come over here and click the rotate button, and I'm just going to type in 90 degrees on my keyboard, and that'll rotate that around. And then I'm going to click translate, and I'm just going to move it over there somewhere. It doesn't really matter for this particular exercise. Just going to kind of get it centered up in my on my axis curve here. Okay. So now we got kind of a side-by-side thing going on here. So in addition to translating and rotating, I can also scale this if I want. So I can scale it up or I can scale it down. And I can undo to get back to where I was if I don't like what was going on there. So now that I've got that attached to the curve, I can go ahead and select the CVs on this curve. Now I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to move those up in Z. And what you'll see after a second here is that my shape is going to update. So what did it do here? So it rotated on itself. So we're just going to go get our query edit and reactivate the construction history. And we'll go into the rotate button and just get that back to where we want it to be. So let me turn on shading here so you can see what's happened. So now you can see that our shape that we had over here has now been duplicated and is attached to this curve that I had in here, this axis curve. So now if I go and modify this curve, turn off our shading for a minute. So if I go and move that curve up, the shape will update. And I can even get in here and start having this thing do all kinds of weird stuff. But whatever we do to that curve, our surface is going to update to follow what that curve is doing. And you can see here it's trying to maintain 90 degrees to the curve. And all our trim surfaces have been maintained, all of our blends have been maintained. It's a very, very powerful tool to start playing with the look of your shape. And at any time I can go back and query edit that shape, get my construction history back. I can go and scale this, make it larger if I want, smaller, and it's going to maintain the flow on that curve. So very, very powerful tool. I can also double click on the blend tool here, and I can change it from using an explicit fitting objective to an accurate. If I click on accurate, you'll see that the geometry gets a lot heavier, but it's a more accurate representation. So you just have to kind of balance your needs according to what you pick in here. You can also change the degree of the surface, as well as pick a mesh output. So if I click that, you'll see that it's now changed it to a polygon model. So if you're doing a rapid prototype or something like that, that would be a great way to get to that point from this shape here. And at any time, if you decide you're done, you can click the commit button, and then that will be applied to that model, its current state, and then it will lose its construction history and you won't be able to edit that anymore. If you want to go back to where you were, you can just hit the revert button in the toolbox, and you'll go back to square one. So that is the bend rig. Thank you.